Hey everyone, Master Amanda here with Master Keith, and we are here with Martial Arts Pro, and we're going to be talking today about our junior program and some things that can help you implement it better in your class and how it's a great thing to have as a visual to the parents where they can really see and hear what you're really teaching.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing we wanted to touch on today was the importance of laying that foundation of leadership skills and that character building from such a young age.
Mhm.
Um, we start our leadership lessons at age 4, in our little guys class. We call it our prep class, and yeah, so just the earlier that they can start learning these lessons and getting them ingrained, and you're laying that strong foundation, the better student they're going to be. And then obviously that could lead into them being a wonderful instructor, assistant, or maybe a future head instructor.
Absolutely. You can correlate that starting at a young age to really building skills in anything. A lot of your pro athletes talk about, they were playing golf when they were 4, and that sort of thing. And we see it in martial arts is the kids that start when they're 4 and 5 years old, 6 years old, and they stick with it. It's just their fundamentals are just part of them. They know how to do the correct stance. It's natural on how to move their body to learn a new move. It makes sense that that correlates over to character. What does it mean to be respectful when it's not, you don't have to change a behavior, you're just building the correct one.
Yeah, absolutely. And the students that have been with us, we have some wonderful instructors, some of them that came to us when they're older, some of them that start when they're younger. And man, when they start with you at 6, 7, 8 years old, and they're able to get these lessons ingrained, and if we do a good job and we keep them motivated in training, man, by the time they're 12, they are
Yeah.
amazing assistants.
hmm
I gotta tell you, we've got some 9 and 10-year-olds that help out with our 4 and 5-year-old class.
Yeah.
That are just incredible.
Yep.
And
They're building that confidence, that charisma, that knowing how to build rapport, making eye contact, high five, all those things that you try to teach an older person. They're just natural at it, and they're not going to ever lose that.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see, young kid out there, and they're standing tall, they're being the leader, they're helping out, and but again, those are hand selected. We look at them, like, man, so and so is doing really well, and we want to see them how they do, maybe assisting and things like that. Even like I said, about as young as 9 or 10 years old, just doing a wonderful job. So a 10-year-old that's learning to be an assistant and a helper on the mat at that age, by the time they're 12, and that's usually when we bump them up into the adult program.
Right.
Then we can start having a conversation about them helping out with some of the older kids' classes, and they've already got 2 years of assisting under their belt, and man, it just really turns out some great instructors. And by the time they're 14, they're leading groups. By the time they're 16,
that foundation.
Yeah, they just and that's, you have to think about that when they're 4 to 8 years old.
Right.
And you have to, and you don't know who that's going to be. You might, if you have a school of 100 students, you don't know which ones are going to be your leaders. And so you teach everybody leadership, which helps the value of your program. And then you start producing your future instructors, future assistants, future head instructors. All of ours came through that process.
Right.
The ones that are younger. Some of our older student instructors are absolutely awesome people,
but they went through the same processes. It's not like they jump started in the middle. They they have been through the leadership lessons. They have come to the instructor training classes or seminars, however you run your program, and whether they're 10 years old or 20 years old or 40 years old, it's the same lessons. which is something I love. You can, kids are kids, but you don't have to water everything down full. You can, if you treat them as mature individuals, they rise up to that. And, I've always believed that.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's something that I feel the longer I teach and the more experience I gain, the more I don't water things down, and I like to be just truthful and honest with the
Right.
kids, and the parents really appreciate that, and
Yeah.
treat them with maturity, and not always with the kids, but a lot of times you get that maturity coming back, and
Right.
and then we had a conversation. We were talking about our leadership lessons at this very moment is respect.
Mhm.
So we're talking about respect and what that looks like. What does it look like at home,
Right.
school, here at the academy? We started the conversation off with, you guys know the rules and the boundaries here at Olson's Martial Arts Academy. You guys, manners was the topic,
Right.
and you guys know that we require you guys to say yes ma'am, yes sir, no sir, no ma'am, please, thank you, you're welcome. You have to use these words. You're not allowed to talk back to instructors or your parents in the lobby. You're not allowed to run in the lobby. They know these very clear rules and boundaries. And for the most part, they do a wonderful job.
Right.
But that's because we're clear on the boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's disciplining if they
Right.
mess up. Of course, we use positive ways to discipline.
Yeah, just
and
like
learn.
you would teach, same thing.
Right. So, but no, having those clear cut boundaries and following through with your rules is so important.
Yeah, I had, it's funny you should say that, because usually it's the beginner class where you have those behavioral issues. By the
Right.
time they get higher ranked, they're different issues sometimes, but not the running through the lobby. We had, I was teaching class the other day, and I look out and I see two of they're intermediate ranks, so they're not like a high ranked kids, but they've been here long enough. And I look out and they're running through the lobby and hiding under the tables, and I'm like, okay. So I just walk out there and I said, guys, go have a seat over there. And they knew that I didn't have to say a word. They knew they had broken the rules. They knew they were in trouble. I went, after I went back, finished my class, I walked over and I said, are we going to have this problem again? No, ma'am. That's it. There's no, nothing else to it, because those boundaries are set, and they know what is respectful behavior at the academy. So, and who's to say one of those little kids might be a great instructor one day, and maybe they'll remember that lesson, and be able to pass it on.
Oh, I know they will, because we have some instructors now that
True.
when they were 8, I've got some stories on them, and they were little rascals and troublemakers, and and that goes back, just to, I think you get that good response because you did treat them with maturity.
Yeah.
And
I hope so.
They knew the rules. There no yelling or getting upset or anything like that was required. They knew the rules. They knew that you were frustrated.
Well, the only punishment was that they knew they had disappointed me.
Right.
There was nothing else needed, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to see that behavior again.
But that maturity, stays with them, and they know what we expect. And then by the time they're 12, 14, 16, they know they're expected to teach and assist with that same level of maturity. Right. They already know. Yeah. If they've been with you that long.
Right. It's part of their who they are now. How do you behave respectfully? And our hope, of course, is that they're carrying that on at home, right, and at school. And I do love to hear that from principals and teachers. Oh, some kids are they're so well behaved in class, and we know that there are students at your academy. That's pretty. Not many compliments are better than that.
No, that's great. And we encourage. We require that the parents give us approval that their child can graduate up to the next level.
Right.
On top of our approval, so they have to get approved by us with their behavior and skills, and then their parents, let us know how they're doing in school and at home.
Right.
Which we never ask for perfection. We just ask for progress,
Absolutely.
And so we have those conversations with the parents, and to make sure that these lessons are being reinforced at other places.
Yeah, and we had a student come, or well, not a student, it was an introductory lesson. So it was their first time coming into the academy, and parents are, there in the classroom, and at the end of the class, we have our leadership lesson. And so they're there with all of that, and I was just kind of watching, observing the class. And after class was over, I went up to him and I said, "So it looks like you were doing good out there. What'd you learn today?" And he's about 6 years old, and he looked at me and he goes, "I learned how to be kind." And I thought, all the stuff they did, they were jumping, they were kicking targets, they were yelling, they were doing self-defense and push-ups and all kinds of stuff. And the first thing that came to his mind, really without hesitation, was, "I learned how to be kind today." And I thought, that is exactly what I, would hope is happening here. It's not what I expected to hear him say, but it made me feel really good that the time and the effort that we put into teaching this character development and teaching leadership to the kids is hitting home. It's being heard, and that's the whole point. I mean, martial arts is great, and any martial art, people always say, "What's the best martial arts?" And the true answer is the one you practice, so it's important, but having good character is even more important. And that just made me feel really good.
And that's amazing. I didn't know about that story.
Yeah, it was just a little kid at the end of a class, and I was like, wow, that was a pretty powerful moment.
And hopefully the parent hearing that knows, just like, wow, my kid learned kindness at the martial arts class,
Yeah.
Which is great. And I was just talking to, on the same subject, an adult jiu-jitsu student this week, and we had a tournament over the weekend, a few hours away, and we had some students do great and some students not do so well, and which is expected. We go to a tournament, and they're pretty bummed. They're pretty not feeling great about their performance, and it just goes to our shift. Our focus in our academy for a long time has been on character. We also teach top-notch martial arts.
Right.
We strive to be the best that we can be, and to push people to be the best that they can be. So it's very important to us that the quality of our martial arts is high.
Right.
Okay. However, that's not the most important thing to us. Our bodies will give out. Yes. We're not going to be able to kick as high as we once were. We're not going to be as fast, or our bodies are going to give out, but our character and our core values is what stays with us forever.
Right.
And that can have an impact on someone's life for the rest of their life. And so I was speaking with this student, and man, I said, "Did you go out there and did you give it your best?"
Right.
And they said, "Yes, I did the best that I possibly could." I said, "Then that's all I ask. And I'm not judging you as a person, as a student, as a friend on your jiu-jitsu performance, especially now that you've said you gave your best today. I judge you on, your character, and, how you handle yourself, and how you treat the other opponent when you lose, and, your own attitude. What are you going to do now from this loss? Are you going to let it win, or are you going to come back home more motivated, figure out what we can do better, and come back stronger the next time?" And it's the values and the character that's the focus, not their martial arts performance.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important. I think it's important for people to not. I don't want someone to feel like if they perform poorly that we're going to think less of them.
Right.
That's the furthest from the truth. I've competed a ton. I've had great days, and I've had terrible days. And
same.
I always had a wonderful support system of people that were proud of me, and just put the emphasis on how you handle yourself and your character and your integrity and respect for others. And
right.
that's the stuff that's most important. And when you take your academy and focus on those core values, um, then it's a pretty powerful thing, and people can see that and appreciate that, or at least that's who you want to attract, is the people that see that.
And that's a good point. What people do you want in your academy? You're going to attract that type, and for us, it's a family atmosphere. Whether you're here with your family or not, you come in and it's like cheers, everybody knows your name. I mean, you become part of something bigger than yourself, and you want to take care of the people around you, and you learn stuff about yourself, you learn stuff about people, relating to others. And then as you go out, for me, as somebody who's been doing this a while, I love the stories of people being successful as they've moved on, to either they've moved on to a different career, moved to a different state, but knowing that they hold these values is very important as far as how they live their life. And yeah, I agree with you. It is the most important part.
Yeah, and to kind of tie it all back in, we got a little sidetracked, but it starts at age 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
and that's why this program that we've designed is designed to start ingraining these lessons in a fun, engaging way, with fun activities. They get to laugh and do some goofy stuff, and
Yeah.
but also would get that serious leadership lesson, character building lesson, every single class, every single week at your academy. That's where they're getting these lessons. And we know that their kids are getting them at home too, but it takes a village, and
Yep.
we want to reinforce those lessons that the parents, I know I was a kid, mom and dad didn't always listen to mom and dad, or oh,
Right.
it's just mom and dad talking. But then your football coach, or your swimming coach, or wrestling,
Right.
sometimes you tended to listen to other people. They might say the same exact thing that your parents are saying, but just the influence might be different. And that's what
Well, and if you're hearing it all around you, and you're being held accountable for a certain type of behavior,
right.
Okay, this is what's expected of me, and kids learn, if I behave this way, here's the consequence,
right,
good or bad.
And I know you've said it previously before, but usually, okay, you run into a parent 5, 10, 15 years later, after their child has been a student with you, and maybe even moved on. You rarely get, oh man, I'm so thankful for what you did. My kid can kick so high.
Right.
They can
That's not
punch
what they
so
say.
strong.
Right.
Yeah, that's that. Their forms are just so crisp. You get the man, you really changed my kid's life. Being able to focus in school better. The learning sportsmanship and how to handle wins and defeats.
Mhm. Confidence for sure.
Confidence building is massive. Um, those are the things that you want. Not, oh, my kid won so many gold medals. With that's great, and we love competition, but it's definitely not the in our philosophy the number one
Right.
focus. So
And I hope that as people come into our academy and other academies across the country, that is something that they notice right away. This is a different place. This is a place of culture and respect, and I want to be a part of that. I hope that's what they see when they come here, and obviously for the whole of martial arts, I hope that's what people see.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, agreed. Well, we'd love to have you guys join in on our conversations. We do a Zoom meeting every Monday, 1:15 p.m. Eastern time, where we go over, today we're talking a little bit more about our junior program and the importance of that and laying that strong foundation for the future. And then we also get into our teen and adult leadership, where you're really producing excellent instructors and assistants and volunteers for your classroom. So if you're an instructor or a school owner and any of those things sound enticing to you, or you want to learn more, about how we do it. We'd love to have you join us below. So contact us below. We'll have our email down there, and you can reach out and get some more information on how to join those calls. And we'll get back to you with some more information.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
All right. I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
All right. See you guys next time.